Hi guys, Drew with Drew Talks. I want you to take a listen to this video right here.
Hello, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Thank you all for allowing me to testify. My name is Caleb Leger, C-A-L-E-B, last name spelled L-E-G-E. I'm a 27-year-old Army veteran. My family has served in the armed forces all the way back to the Revolutionary War, never skipping a generation. I'm a member of the American Legion. When I raised my hand and swore to defend the Constitution, I was prepared to uphold that oath with my life. And a lot of us have. The least a politician could do is uphold their oath and follow the Constitution. You will hold a private accountable for having a toaster in his barracks room. Yet you will send us unconstitutionally overseas to undeclared wars. I have two good friends that came home, and they killed themselves after the things that happened. I have one of my best friends that is still alive, and he will never be the same. The fact this bill hasn't passed already is mind-boggling to me. In all honesty, it's a no-brainer in my eyes. It's constitutional. We know what we signed up for, okay? And we uphold our oaths. SecDef, the DNI, RFK, they all support this. Protect our guard. Uphold your oaths. That is all.
So that was probably the best testimony I'd heard last time we were at the Capitol trying to get Defend the Guard passed. If you follow my channel, you know I've spoken of Defend the Guard before. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially a bill that makes it so the Montana National Guard cannot be sent into war unless Congress officially declares war. It basically reiterates the Constitution. Now, if this were to pass, it would be pretty incredible because more states would pass it if Montana would take the lead. And what you would see happen is the empire that relies on having all these soldiers and resources stretched so thin could not sustain these wars if they didn't have guardsmen to pull into the battle. I was down at the Capitol to testify the last two times Defend the Guard has been there. It was presented 4 years ago, and we've been trying to get it passed. And the legislators that you are sending to the Capitol, Montana, are voting against this bill. And they are being manipulated by the war machine into all these fear-mongering tactics. They'll say things like, well, this is an illegal bill. It's not. They'll say, well, we'll pull funding and close bases if you pass this. They won't. And, you know, even if they tried to do something like that, that is something the courts could work out, and they would view that this bill is completely legal. Our guardsmen can still be sent on training exercises. It has nothing to do with deploying them to do training overseas, etc. It is simply for combat. And honestly, if you respect the soldiers and you think they should go to war, they should be treated with the decency of the war being declared a war, and not just at the whim of somebody sitting in the Oval Office who has decided that, oh, let's go attack this country. It shouldn't work like that. We are a constitutional republic, and the executive branch does not have the power to just have war whenever they want. That was supposed to be with the Congress. And because the Congress has become such a weak branch of the government at this point, the states need to reiterate this rule that our men are not going to go bleed overseas unless you do it legally. Because guess what? Congress hasn't declared war since the 1940s. So the odds of them actually having the stones to put their name on paper and say, yeah, I'm for war, when they know they have to come back and face the American people, they're not going to do it. So this is a bill to end the endless wars. I would love to be able to present this bill at the Capitol as the senator for District 41, Helena. It's one of the things I am running on. It's one of my policies. This is something I am very passionate about. I will also drop again my email in the description so you can get a hold of me if you have any questions about this bill. I will also put my newsletter I'm doing for some of my key people who are interested in following the campaign. I am sending out a newsletter to them so you can keep up with what my policies are and the campaign as we go on this journey all the way till November. It seems like a lifetime ago that I filed, and it's only been like over a week. So a lot's happened since then. It's been really encouraging, the amount of positive feedback I'm getting about running. I met last night with a coalition of Republicans, and they were very friendly. We disagreed on some things, but for the most part, we really found a lot of common ground. We talked about taxes and spending. They talked about running campaigns. They're definitely more experienced at it than I am. And so that was very encouraging. I've had a lot of warm reception from, of course, the homeschool community. I am part of that community. And a lot of people in Helena are very intrigued about the fact that there is a libertarian in the race and a Democrat in the race and nobody else in the race. And I gotta say, whichever Democrat gets the onto the ballot after primaries, I am going to be a very good opposite to them. So if you are hardcore left Democrat, you like big government, you like big pharma, and I say that I don't know what's happened to the Democrat Party, because growing up, the Democrats were always anti-big pharma, but they've kind of switched recently. There's been a lot of very pro-big pharma, big medicine, big corporations going on at the Democrat side of things, and that's been intriguing. But if you are for all those big government stuff, then the Democrat candidate in this county is that's your girl right there. If you aren't for any of those things, I am way over here compared to them. So Helena is actually going to have a really good choice because they will have a perfect pick of two completely opposite candidates. I have no idea what my opponents think of Defend the Guard, but considering that none of the Democrats in Washington, even though they are squawking about Trump's war, they won't even vote on it to say they oppose it. They won't even put that down. They blocked voting on a resolution about the war. They probably, whichever opponent I face, may not even have an opinion about war, or they'll just not say anything. I'm saying stuff. I am pro-peace. I am anti-war. I do not believe in violence. That's why I don't believe in plundering the people. I believe in compassion. I believe in my neighbors. I believe in a foreign policy that is basically using the free market enterprise to influence other nations and building alliances that way, and not with munitions and guns and ammo and killing. And nothing great can be built on this much blood. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that young man's testimony. His video was much better than mine, so I thought I would share him. I love how many veterans come down to support Defend the Guard, young veterans. It is absolutely fascinating to see how many of these guys that oppose us are all very, very old. And I don't think anyone under the age of 50 testified against Defend the Guard. Whereas on the other side of the room, you got a lot of guys my age that remember 9/11, and they remember what Bush did to my generation. And we are trying desperately to stop that from happening to the generation underneath us. All right, like, share, dislike, leave a comment. Thanks, guys.